everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, I said in the last video that I was going to do a part 2 to the conversation or the brief vocal quick tip about being careful not to take our voices for granted. So this is part 2 of that vocal quick tip. And in this part of the conversation about not taking our voices for granted, I wanted to specifically focus on something that a lot of vocalists are familiar with, and as well as people who speak for a living use their voices in that manner. But most definitely that a lot of singers, unfortunately, have gotten familiar with. So I'm going to throw 3 names out for you and ask you this question. What do Celine Dion, John Mayer, and Julie Andrews have in common? So we'll wait. I'll wait. What the 3 of them have in common, and it's not just them. Like I mentioned, I could name Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I could go down the list. Doesn't matter the genre. But I chose those 3 people as examples because, for one reason, because they're all 3 coming from different musical genres, and yet they all share this particular issue or some aspect of it in common because of not being as careful perhaps as they should have been with their voices. So what those 3 people have in common is they either were on the verge of losing, or in the case of Julie Andrews, unfortunately, did actually lose the use of her voice. And if you know anything about Julie Andrews, if you're not familiar with her, look her up. What an amazing career, what a beautiful voice. And she really used that voice of hers just to the hilt. You know, she did some of the most iconic songs that we have from a decades-long music, recording, live performance, and movie career. Of course, she's very, very well known for, maybe one of the things she's best known for is the movie The Sound of Music, and songs like The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music, and all those other songs. But at any rate, I certainly don't want to say that she took her instrument for granted, but the use of it over time, perhaps the really super heavy schedule of the amount of singing that she did, it took a toll on her voice, and I believe that she did say that she can no longer sing. I don't know all the particulars of that because she speaks perfectly fine from what I have seen, but since she's retired, I do remember seeing some brief interviews that she gave when she did say that she couldn't use her voice anymore. So I don't know the extent of the damage of her vocal cords. So, but unfortunately, that is on one end of the spectrum as far as completely losing the use of it. John Mayer and who else did I name? I said John Mayer. Oh, Celine Dion. John Mayer and Celine Dion have not lost the use of their voices. But they both had to take breaks from singing due to doctor's orders because they, from what I've seen in interviews and things that they've said, in both of their cases, they were on the verge of or close to, my computer monitor just, there, it's back. The light is back. Both of them, in different situations, were on the verge of possibly damaging their vocal cords, irreparable damage. So the vocal quick tip that I have for you today is, when I say don't take your voice for granted, besides the idea that it's not just always, don't always assume that it's always just, bam, going to be there without you having to warm up. But I do harp on warming up properly and breathing properly, taking your time with making sure that your instrument is prepared before you go into full voice, all those things that I've talked about in previous vocal quick tips. Make sure you look them up. They're all important for many reasons, but not just for the purposes of having the best performance that you can have, but also for the health, the actual health and longevity of your voice and vocal cords, that you will be able to use it throughout, use them, cords plural, throughout your life. So when I say don't take your voice for granted, I also mean, as I've said, make sure that you take rest breaks if you find yourself doing a lot of performing. And don't we love that? I mean, that's one of the things that we work for as performers, as public speakers, as artists. You know, we love the opportunity to get out there and do what we love. And live performance is a major aspect of the artistry. It is a performing art. But at the same time, we also have to be disciplined. And by that, I mean we need to be mature enough to recognize the times in which, as much as we might want to take a gig or might want to take a performance date, we may need to step back and take a break and build in those break times. So everything we always talk about with using your diaphragm, making sure that you're properly warmed up, and making sure that you're, continue to work and stay on top of your technique. Make sure that you're approaching your songs in a way, and you're speaking as well, in a way that you are not straining your voice. Making sure that you are not sitting down on your vocal cords when you speak, and that you are getting up off of them, so to speak. All of those things I've talked about in my previous vocal quick tips along this series. So be sure to look through all of those. I've accumulated quite a few by now. So yeah, all of those things I've talked about in terms of your technique, your approach, taking care of your voice, staying hydrated, how you eat and drink, staying on top of your stress level, and getting the proper rest, all those kinds of things, exercising, keeping your body fit as well as your mind, and all of those things contribute to having the healthiest voice and vocal cords that you possibly can have, and contribute to, therefore, having the longevity that we want to have from our voices. But it's up to us to take care of the gifts that we've been given. Of course, that's true for all of our gifts, right? So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. Please do like this video and give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe. And again, as I say, let me know if you have some specific things you'd like to ask me about in terms of vocal quick tips, how we use our voices, even other things that I've talked about, perhaps just to expand upon. But I do encourage you to, when you have a chance, do a little research, Google, look up some of those artists that I talked about, and others as well. It's much more common than we realize for some of our favorite singers to develop vocal cord issues. It's much more common. They may not talk about it, but it's much more common than you might think. So it's nothing to take for granted to develop sores on the vocal cords, or nodes as they're called, etc. From poor use, misuse, overuse, all those kinds of things. Lifestyle mistakes, shall I put it that way? unhealthy lifestyle choices, we'll put it that way, like smoking, etc. So keep all of those things in mind. In the meantime, be blessed. Today I'm celebrating my wedding anniversary, so my husband and I are about to go and consume food. Woohoo! In the meantime, take care. Enjoy this summer season, and God bless. I will be coming back at you again with some more vocal quick tips. And also, I do have a show coming up with my No Limits band, a double bill. What is it? It's next week. Next week, Wednesday, July 15th, a Wednesday after work affair. If you happen to be in Detroit, at the famous Burt's Place in Detroit in Eastern Market, very famous location. I will be there with my band, and we'll also be there with Jeff Canaday and his band, the Soul Nice Band. So it's a musical double bill. So do come out and join us. Tickets are only $7 at the door, and you're going to get a lot of great entertainment and a lot of great music. And we'll have a good time. We'll have a good time. And of course, with my music, I always have messages in my songs as well. So I'm going to be playing a little flute and doing some of my original stuff that's going to be on the upcoming album, some songs that you're familiar with that are on the last album, and so we'll just have some fun. Okay? Talk to you soon. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.